Use code AFTV20 for 20% off your order with Fireaway Pizza. Just click the link in the description below or go to fireaway.co.uk now.
Christian, we've just witnessed Arsenal's final game of the season, a 2-1 win against Everton. Unfortunately, it was not enough to secure the title as City took care of business at home against West Ham. But I just want to get your overall thoughts on the game and perhaps your reflections on the season as a whole.
On the game, I don't think it was great. I said on the watch along that we looked nervous against United. I think that was one of our worst performances in a long time. And we kind of carried that over to today. I think possibly started the game well, first 5 minutes, had a couple of little chances. Maybe should have been 1-2-0 up. But then from there, I feel like, we let Everton back in the game. They get a goal through a deflected free kick, which is a freak goal. Lucky Calvert-Lewin hits the post. Kind of a bitty game. No one really stood out. I think maybe Odegaard was our man of the match if you had to give it to someone. But again, I don't think for his levels he was great.
It's interesting you say that. I want to rewind slightly. So you say we didn't have a very good start. Do you think that might have been down to a minute and a half into the City game?
Yeah.
Everyone knows that already 1-0 up against West Ham. Do you think that might have had an adverse effect on the players?
Yeah, very possible. I mean, there probably was an atmosphere change in the stadium because it would have been up at the start of the game. We were up at the start of the game. You saw our energy. We were all a little bit hopeful. Obviously, we had the two screens going on. So then, for Foden to put one in the top corner after a couple of minutes.
A minute and a half. Yeah.
It kind of, it brings the energy down.
Sucks the air out.
It does. It did a little bit. But on the game, nothing really to say. We got it done in the end. I know you were saying that you would have felt disappointed if we hadn't won today. For me, if City won and whatever happened to us, it wouldn't have changed my opinion because I'm proud of the team this season. And it wasn't on today. I think we have to look at other games where we could have turned a couple of losses into draws and maybe won the league, or turned a loss into a win and won the league. It wasn't about today. They didn't really have anything to prove to me today. Obviously, I wanted them to go out there and win the game. But if they had drawn 1-1 and City had won, I wouldn't have been too upset.
Okay, you mentioned the word you're proud of the team. Let's talk about that a little bit. What gives you so much pride in the team? I mean, I know some of it's fairly obvious, but explain to the people, when you say you're proud of the team, what you mean exactly by that.
I'm 27 years old, right? So I'm very much an Emirates era fan. I've grown up watching some absolutely shocking players. This beautiful 60,000 seater stadium, I've seen some shocking players play there in this Arsenal shirt. Not this exact one, but in the Arsenal shirt.
No, I hear you.
And I've seen some players that don't...
I'm not going to name names, but I think we know. I know where you're going.
You don't need to name names all day, but I've seen some players not give everything for this shirt. And today and this season, I've seen every single player in that squad and that manager and everyone behind the scenes give everything in their power and in their ability to try and win this league and win all of these competitions. And as a fan, sometimes that's all you can ask for. Like, it comes down to us essentially not being a better football team than Manchester City, which is why we didn't win it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And I think there's more to be proud of than there is to be ashamed of. So, I'm proud of this team. We had a debate on the watch-along about if Man United go and win the FA Cup, have they had a better season? Possibly, on paper, maybe bragging rights-wise, you've had a better season. But if you look at a team like Manchester United, they've had a lot to not be happy about this season. They lost a lot of games this season. Arsenal in the league this season have won 28 games. That means 28 times I've sat down to watch Arsenal, either at the stadium, watch along, or at home. And I've enjoyed what I've seen. I've celebrated goals. I've watched players that I love. I've seen passion and quality and come away from the game afterwards feeling proud to be an Arsenal fan. And if we can keep that moving forward, there's no reason we can't turn this success into more success and trophies to go along with it. So, I'm proud of the team. I don't think any Arsenal fan really has a reason not to be, especially when you know where we've come from. It's not like 5 years ago we were winning everything and now we're just challenging. We were in the mud. Before Arteta came, Unai Emery in the last few seasons of Wenger, we were shocking. There were some... No, seriously. For real, there were some terrible footballers at this football club. Like I said before, there were players that weren't playing for this shirt. And now we have a team to be proud of. Obviously, there's going to be people online trying to get at Arsenal fans saying we bottled it and we're the same as Chelsea and United because we're not. We're a team to be admired. I think people across the world, if you're a smart, intelligent footballing person, you can't look at this Arsenal team and laugh at them and say they bottled it. Oh, there's nothing. We're a brilliant team. I got United friends texting me saying you should be proud of that. United friends that obviously wanted us to beat City, saying there's nothing to not be proud of. You're a great team, and we're going to go again next year.
You've convinced me. Not that I needed convincing, but you've done a very good job in selling that to me. So well done for that. Yeah. You mentioned how proud you are of the team. Were there any players that particularly stood out for you this season?
Yeah, I think we've got 4 players that are verging on world class. And by that, I mean, they're probably in the top 3 in their positions. And they are, it's William Saliba, Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, and Bukayo Saka.
Agreed, by the way.
I think Saliba, I've seen interest. There's interest from Real Madrid and PSG, and I think he could get in any team in the world. I think he maybe even starts at City. Declan Rice as well. I think behind Rodri is probably behind Rodri is the best defensive midfielder in the world. Odegaard's definitely up there as becoming one of the best creative midfielders in the world. And Saka, okay, maybe there's an argument for Saka that he's maybe not in the top 3. Maybe he's, you've got like the Rodrigos and the Fodens and these kind of players and Salah and you got these players that maybe above him, maybe he's top 5, but he's verging on that debate.
He's definitely in the discussion.
100%. And just in the summer, if we can add 1 or 2 more of those... Yeah, that
was going to be my next question.
If we can add 1 or 2 more of those elite players that are verging on those conversations and the players that we do already have that maybe aren't quite there, like the Ben Whites, like the Kai Havertz, like the Martinellis, like the Trossards, if they can elevate a little bit more and get a bit better, then who's to say that how well we've done this season, we can't do a lot better next season?
Okay, I'll pick you up on that. Hypothetically speaking, if I was to give you a war chest and say, look, go out there and pick one player that you really want to see this season. You can't pick Mbappe, by the way. You've already got Madrid. Yeah. Who would that be for you to strengthen Arsenal next season?
Probably Isak from Newcastle.
I think that's a good look, bro.
Yeah, I just think he's a goal scorer. He can also create. Great player. A little bit injury prone, which could be a worry because we've got injury prone players and we know how that goes. Apart from him, I think the number 9 for me is the most important. We need someone that finishes those chances because there's been a lot of games this season. I think of West Ham at home. I think of Fulham at home, Fulham away, where we've had chances and played well, but just haven't put the ball in the back of the net a lot of the time. And we're relying on 22-year-old, 22 or 23-year-old Bukayo Saka and young Martinelli and inexperienced Odegaard to finish all these chances. Whereas if we get a guy that's been there and done it and scored 15, 20 goals in the league and knows what it is to put the ball in the back of the net, then maybe we can turn a couple of those L's or D's.
Draws into wins, absolutely. Okay, very good answer there. Finally, a word on the manager. How do you think he's done this season and how do you think he'll do next season?
Personally, I love Mikel Arteta. Very optimistic when he came in. Obviously, it was his first job, cone man to Pep, playing second fiddle at City. But if you listen to Pep Guardiola's interviews about Arteta, he always wanted him to be his assistant manager. So he obviously knew this guy was some sort of smart man when it comes to football. And for Arteta to go into Edu and the rest of the board at Arsenal and convince them that me, who has never worked a professional managerial job in my life, I am the man to single-handedly come into this club and change everything. He has to be some sort of... I would love to watch one of those meetings of Arteta and Edu sitting down and the rest of the club to see what Arteta said to them. Because why would they trust this guy? They just brought in Unai Emery, who's won however many Europa Leagues, has European pedigree. They've just got rid of Arsene Wenger, who's one of Arsenal's best ever managers. And they're bringing in this inexperienced guy. He's obviously some sort of impressive footballing man. And we've seen that. We've seen that over the 4 full seasons that he's had, that we really have a style of play now. And he gets the best out of so many of these players. And don't get me wrong, he's been given a lot of money. and he's been given time as well. But if he's given more and he's given more quality, I have no doubt that he's the man to take us forward and lead us to titles.